And we have, okay. It's all part of that process. So it's part of the process. What's that? The YouTube video. Yeah, video is live right now. So just, yeah, keep it clean. Okay. Should I switch to the PC mic on that thing? Oh, okay. Okay, very good.
Hello everybody.
Hey, we're ready to go.
I'll just introduce myself. Hello everyone, my name is Sundar Krishnamurthy. I work for Concur in Bellevue, Washington. We 2 hours, 4:15 I left work, I was here 6:15. I'm like, we need trains perhaps, we need something else. Anyways, what I do basically at work is to tell you the truth, it's pretty much everything. Security is a sphere. The basic reason why I tell you security sphere is there are so many things inside of it. If you pick up a book that says CISSP exam, and you see the total sphere, it's like all the domains that you need to have knowledge about is huge. I would say all the way from, I would say, TAR to certificates, to access control, to making certain you have two-factor authentication, to what the hell is HTTPS and TLS, down to malware, exploits. I would say having a complete view is tough. So what happens is all of us kind of like try to silo ourselves. Like my official title is I'm a senior security engineer in charge of application security. So my basic job, most importantly, is scan code. Find out how the OWASP top 10 vulnerabilities exist in the code that developers write out, and how do you mitigate, how do you remediate, how do you make certain developers get trained so that they don't commit the same SQLi or XSS or XXE or whatever is the vulnerability that's out there, they don't do it again and again. But to tell you the truth, what I've gotten involved completely in is going to be my talk. And this talk basically is around something known as user management. I have a lot of stories about user management that I'm going to say as a part of my lecture. And if you have any questions, please interrupt me. I'll pause as I talk. I won't kind of like go on full speed with everything that I have, because the material that I have pretty much will take an hour, but I don't want to make you folks sit here until like 8. That would be not nice, especially given that it's the middle of the week, it's hump day, Wednesday. So I'll try to be a little bit concise. I'll go over all the material that I have. And the most important thing is user management. And managing users, I would say, is the biggest pain. Absolutely the biggest pain that can ever exist. How many of you have a site that people can log into? Or you are part of a company, and in that company, what do? You let users log in. Have you ever gone and seen, say if your company is Concur, have you ever, like the company that I work for, do you have an account like Yoda at concur.com, who pretty much is an administrator, who has all the flags turned on? This person can do admin work, they can add users, delete users, whatever. And do you know who's Yoda? You might not. What do? You might go and turn off Yoda. And then somebody might send you a very angry mail saying that, why did you turn my access off? And you're like, who the hell are you? Like, I'm the CEO of this company. I wrote this software, and for the first account I created was Yoda. You'd be like, thank you for telling that. Now, we'll audit. If you're ever poached by Google, or if you ever resign as CEO, we need to go and turn off Yoda at concur.com so that you don't log back in from a new company having admin rights. Who's auditing? Who's monitoring? Pretty much nobody. It's scary, and let's see if this works.
We're all set up. The only limitation is our video right now. Silly question, do you have the second display turned on, or do you have it put in display mode or the share button? Thank you. It's got signal, it'd be telling us it did not have signal. No options. Fiddlesticks.
Or else I can show presentation on yours.
Absolutely, and that'll be fine.
Off. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
No dice now.
Now,
Something about that. Hey, we got video. All right.
Thank you. So finally, we get started. Thank you very much. Just gonna use my clicker here. So my name is Sundar Krishnamurthy, and as I have introduced myself, I'm a senior security engineer at Concur in Bellevue. And aside from that, I teach security on behalf of Science Institute. And to tell you the truth, teaching security is probably the best thing that you can do. Because if you inculcate this desire in some kid, in some teenager who says, I want to know how to break things, how to break this web application, how do I make certain nobody would own my MySpace page. MySpace was hot, nobody has it. Or nobody would own my Facebook page, or whatever. How do you inculcate that in small kids and teenagers and get them on a path to not exactly, I would say, infamy, but good security? That is a challenge. So let's get started. So the talk that I'm going to give and the demo that I'm going to give is mainly going to be on this thing called Active Directory. I used to work for Microsoft, I don't anymore. So I'm not going to say this is probably the best solution that exists, but this is widespread. I doubt any company out there that does not have a Windows NT network or an Active Directory. That would be hardly any company. So what exactly is Active Directory? It's copyright Microsoft, Redmond, Washington. It's an umbrella title for a broad range of directory-based identity-related services. So all your email addresses, whenever you send email to somebody, there's an LDAP. It uses a protocol called LDAP, Lightweight Directory Access Protocol, and that is the way all the users get created inside the domain controller, and the whole system is called Active Directory. So when you fire up Outlook and you type the first name Peter, you don't know his last name. Press Control K in your Outlook, it will show you all the features that are in your company. And you click on any one of them, you can see their title, who's their manager, where's their office, what's their phone number, what groups they belong to, everything Outlook will tell you. But guess what? If Outlook can tell you, you can find that too. You can query the Active Directory to know everything about your company, pretty much. Say there's this business group in Bangalore. It's pretty big, they're tasked with a big project. And one day suddenly, one VP decides they're wasting a lot of money, or we don't need that business division anymore. Overnight, they turn off the logon credentials for everybody in a certain business group. It need not be Bangalore, it could be, say, here in Silicon Valley. There's a new group, but everybody from VP down to the engineer, they have their logon credentials revoked one night. You know that division is shutting down. That's intelligence you get from the Active Directory. Active Directory screams at you and says, I have events. I know everything that's happening in the company. I know who's logging in at what times, who's logging off, what IP address they're coming from, how long are they VPN'd. Whenever a person's manager changes, whenever a person's last name changes, whenever any change happens in the Active Directory, you, as a member of this company, all you need an access to a laptop or a device which is on the network. You can find out all about these events and use it completely to your advantage. You have to disable this. So It's all about something in the Active Directory known as GAL. GAL is short for Global Address List. It's an electronic shared address book. Very simply, if you open Outlook and you start typing a name, it just drops down and tells you these are all the people. So it's all in the GAL. Not only that, you can even store a user's X59 certificates, open PGP keys for encrypted email. All that goes into the Active Directory. So Microsoft right now is pushing federation, AD identities, everything into the Azure cloud. A lot of the problems that I highlight in my talk today about user management, they could all be history, obsolete in a year or two.
So all the issues have been resolved. I just wanted to check on you.
Yeah. So what's Microsoft doing right now? They're taking ActiveSync, they're taking the Exchange mailbox, they're taking your logon. Whenever you log into your Active Directory, that event can be federated and broadcast to all systems outside. Microsoft's doing that. It's not yet spread. It's going to take some time before this happens everywhere. And it would give you a lot of problems, and how to address them is a solution that I proposed. And one big player right now is called Okta. It's a company based, I think, not sure where in California, they're South Bay or wherever. So they're a big player. They plug into your Active Directory, and they use Kerberos to authorize access to web applications. So what Okta simply says is, don't have your users create their own account. If your user is an employee, they have first name dot last name at yourcompany.com. That's how they log into the Active Directory. We federate that logon, and we would let access to your web application be done via that method. Such that if the person ever leaves the company and goes away, they can log into the Active Directory, they can use your application. Plain and simple. So the big nightmare that I'm going to show with a lot of problems that I've encountered is user management. First off, GitHub.com. A lot of companies today use GitHub to store source. But how do developers check their code into GitHub? They have their own IDs. They created with their Gmail, Hotmail, what have you. They have their own ID. Their ID could be very funny. It could be like Darth Vader 755. So you have somebody with an ID Darth Vader 755 in GitHub who has access to your source. Who knows who the Darth Vader 755 is? Probably his manager. Is that logged somewhere? Is somebody maintaining a record to say, if this person quits the company and leaves, we need to go and disable Darth Vader 755 from our source. You cannot go and deactivate their account because it belongs to him. You don't own it. He probably had it before he took employment with you. So rather than you saying, delete this account to GitHub, GitHub will be like, haha, I'm not going to delete it. What you can do is uncouple, remove access. That person should not be able to see your source. And source code, I would say, are the crown jewels. Source code is pretty much what made Sergey Brin, Larry Page, Bill Gates what they are doing. It's all source code, programs. So for GitHub.com, a lot of companies say, we have two-factor authentication. We use an app called Authy. Whenever you go to github.com/ whatever is your company's name or source name, and the person tries to log in, he'd be like, enter your Authy code. Take your cell phone out. There's an app called Authy. It will show you the 6 digits, two-factor authentication. Type in those 6 digits, you're in. If a person quits and goes away, does Authy know about it? No. That person could still use two-factor authentication and access your source code on GitHub, even if he's using two-factor authentication. So it's not a panacea, it's not a silver bullet. I need to remember. Sorry about this. Continuously keep moving my mouse. Oh. Get back on. So then, how about developers forking repos? A developer can get a copy or fork the source code into his or her personal tree. So if you say http github.com/darthvader755 he could have a copy of your source. There's company source which is forked into his own repo. And if he quits and goes away, technically he has your source code. Are people auditing? Are people logging this? Probably not. And then there's third-party websites, gotomeeting.com. If you have a GoToMeeting conference, I'll come up with this use case later, which kind of like scared me completely. Who is maintaining access to these conferences? What happens? Usually, I'll tell you about this use case. We were cleaning up house because we just sold our house in January. And as a part of the cleanup, I got a post-it note in which Mr. Smith, followed by a 1866 number, which was a GoToMeeting number, and the passcode. I look at it and go, aha, this is Mr. Smith. He was the vice president of my previous company. And this gentleman pretty much had a conference call every second and fourth Friday, 8 a.m. Pacific, 11 a.m. Eastern would be the call. All of us would dial in. Initially, our group was small. All of us would dial in. Whenever it was a beep, like at 7:50, 8:59, Mr. Smith would go, who just joined? I'd be like, I'm Sundar from Seattle. He'd be like, is it still raining there? I'd be like, yeah, it's still raining here. What can you expect? So we have this conversation, and then our group grew, and in the end, we had like some 70, 80 people all dialing at the same time. So if you were to dial in like at 7:50, 7:58 into this conference, all you hear are these all beep, 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 everybody joining in worldwide as a part of this VP. I quit the company, I got this post-it note. What can I do? Friday morning, I can wake up and say, I want to eavesdrop on this conversation. I'll be on mute. I want to see who got hired, who got fired, which contracts got, what were the new contracts that closed, how much money did that particular business unit make. It's all intelligence. Is anybody auditing it? No. Is there any way for the VP to say, this person has quit the company? Maybe it would be prudent for me to change the passcode or probably recycle the passcode every month. Doesn't matter. Whoever leaves that month, you can eavesdrop for the next couple of weeks. Every month I'm going to change the passcode and send out a new passcode to all of you. How many companies do that? Hardly anybody. So that's a problem with GoToMeeting and even with AT&T teleconferencing. And lastly, Yammer. Yammer is this, Microsoft bought this company over, it's like Facebook for work. But then, is that integrated to the Active Directory? No. The funniest thing about a friend of mine who works for Yammer, he used to work in Microsoft, and then he got moved over to the Yammer division after the takeover. What he tells me pretty much is that, funnily, most companies that have accounts on Yammer, there are ex-employees and current employees all conversing with each other on that Facebook page, which is Yammer. There's a social media, technically for employees, but hardly anybody goes and deactivates ex-employees. So this is another use case that I want to bring. This is again very scary. Imagine you work for a company that does marketing for soda companies. You have a contract with Pepsi and say, you tell Pepsi, I will take all your data, everything, all your sales across every state, how much money you made from each event. I'll get all the data. If you're running a promotion, if you're running any sort of campaign where you're targeting a certain event like Super Bowl in the Bay Area or whatever, I'll take all the data and I'll feed it in. So the manager from Pepsi calls your engagement manager and says, I have this guy, John Doe at Pepsi.com. He's going to be running a lot of campaigns, marketing campaigns for Pepsi using your platform. Okay, you go to your app and give John.Doe at Pepsi.com access to your web application where all Pepsi's financial data, everything else has already been fed. He logs into the application every day. He pulls up, he sees these are the campaigns we run, these are the marketing dollars we spend, whatever it is there to be done. And then suddenly you realize he doesn't log on. For like a 3-week period, there are no logons from John.Doe at Pepsi.com. You're wondering, what gives? Wasn't our app nice? Did he got bored? What happened? You give a call to his manager in Pepsi and ask, what's up with John Doe? He isn't using this app anymore. You'd be like, oh, he moved to Atlanta. He now works for Coca-Cola. And you keep your phone down and say, holy cow. He could have popped his browser open in Atlanta at the Coca-Cola office and say, let me see what Pepsi is doing. Open your app, type in John.Doe at Pepsi.com. The login that he had before, log into the application, look at everything. What he's doing technically, he's violating Article 18, Section 1030. If you folks are aware of what that is, it's basically any sort of data access which is unauthorized, is a criminal offense in the United States of America. Article 18, Section 1030. So he's technically ran afoul of it, but do you have any means to stop it? No, because you're missing a process around user management. And as I said, yoda@yourcompany.com could be an admin account. How many people have gone back and seen these are all the users who are employees or ex-employees of your company who have access to your app on the World Wide Web? Who's auditing this? Hardly anybody. There's a lot of companies right now who are doing identity and access management solutions, all the way from Dell through SailPoint through IBM, Security Identity Manager to Okta I told you about. Everybody claims to say they have the antidote to all your problems. It's partly true, and partly a lot of your things are you need your customers to also implement the same solutions. They may or may not do, so you have to come up with your own hacks in order to say. So I'll just give you a few stories from the trenches and podcasts that I listen to. The first is this story, the Canary Investment Bank in Zurich. It's a very nice story. If any of you have a knack for writing, the story can be actually written into a book and you can be the next bestseller on Amazon perhaps. The story goes like this. There is this investment banker, the vice president at an investment bank in Zurich. This guy is like an executive vice president, and this bank is very secure because they deal in hedge funds, they deal in a lot of mergers, acquisitions, and a lot of money. Okay? So this guy, who's like a vice president of finance, he has his wife visit him often at lunchtime. It's a very secure facility. But what is it if you're the wife of the vice president of finance? You walk into the building, walk up to the reception and say, I'm here to see Bill. The lady will be like, go upstairs, he should be in this room. So she takes the elevator upstairs, she walks up to his room, his executive assistant is right outside. She asks her, is Bill there? She'll be like, no, Bill is actually with the CEO, but he should be back in half hour. You can go inside and sit, he'll be there. So the lady goes inside, takes her iPhone out, she's playing games or on Facebook, whatever, and this guy shows up. He says, honey, what are you doing here? She's like, I was bored in the house, I had nothing to do. So I just thought I would come by, we'd have lunch together. They're like, okay, honey, let's go. So both of them go down the elevator, they have lunch together. This wife drives back home, and he goes back and he works. What is this lady doing? She's taking pictures of printouts on his desk. If there are any important documents or if he's not logged his screen or whatever, she takes pictures of everything and sends them out to a company in Belgium. Because this guy from Belgium calls her one day and says, we've been tracking your husband on Facebook or on LinkedIn. We see that he's been an executive vice president for the last 3 years. He's never been promoted. So what we want to do is we want to be right now in Belgium, but we want to set up an operations in Switzerland. We want to start an office there, and we want to appoint your husband as the president. But what we want you to do for that is go to his office, take pictures of everything on his desk, and keep sending them to us. So this guy suddenly, one day he walks inside his room, and he sees his wife with a cell phone pointed at a printout, and she's like, oh my God. He's like, what are you doing? She's like, he comes out in the open. She says, well, I was contacted by this company. This is the entire story. And he's like, I'm so mad at you right now. You don't even know how mad at you I am right now that I was for later. He calls on his CEO and he says, I want to meet you. So he's like, well, I'm away. I'm actually at a business conference. He's like, meet me tonight. You just have beer or something. Meet me tonight. Tell me what's up. In the evening, this guy, the vice president, meets the CEO, Bill meets Joe, and tells Joe everything. It's my wife. She's the one who's been outing everything that we do to this company in Belgium. She's double-crossing, technically. She's the element which we have a very secure facility, but even in a very secure facility, this sort of vulnerability exists. And this guy says, I want to quit. I'm resigning. Whatever punitive action you want to take on me, please take. But the CEO is like, no, I want to use your wife. I'm going to manufacture all the information that your wife is going to forward to the other company. We're going to get them out of business. There's no other way for me to ever confront the other company. But if I go down this route, she's a candidate. If you can write a story, if you can extend this into a story, it would be awesome. The second is about a merchant bank heist. This happened in Hoboken, New Jersey, what I heard from a friend of mine who's a pen tester. The story goes like this. There's a small little merchant banking firm in Hoboken, New Jersey. This guy who goes to his church, whatever, he takes money from all the people who come to church and says, I'll invest it on your behalf. And then he puts that money into REITs or hedge funds, whatever, and gives them a nice profit. So this big bank, I'm not sure if it's a South Korean or it's a Vietnamese, it's one of those banks that has an office in Wall Street. They find out that this guy's business is very good. They say, we want to take you over. So the big bank takes over the small merchant banking firm. What happens usually in any acquisition? This is not a merger, it's an acquisition. Your web services get opened, administrators of the small bank suddenly get admin credentials from the big bank. And this is going to be just for a few weeks. By the time they migrate the entire Active Directory over, so whatever was John.doe at smallmerchantbank.com will be John.doe at bigbank.com. So that's the acquisition, right? So the administrator of this small merchant banking firm has a MacBook, which does not, the Safari does not have the HTTP only flag. The HTTP only flag says never expose session ID to JavaScript. There's a drive-by download. There's some hacker sitting in Russia or Eastern Europe somewhere. He grabs the session ID via a cross-site scripting exploit of the administrator. He sees this is the URL, this is the session ID. He sticks the session ID, gets the URL, and what is he now? Admin of the big bank. The way the big bank is architected is that admins are like gods. They can see everything. So this guy says, oh, show me everything. He sees these people have 50 million, this guy has 100 million in the bank, whatever. He's like, what if I steal 1 million? This guy might not probably know that it's pocket change for him. So he's like, transfer 1 million. The story that I heard goes like this. Transfer 1 million over from this account to this account in the Cayman Islands. But before he presses submit, he sees a small button that says authorization. He clicks on it and then sees the big bank has a 2-person authorization scheme. The big bank says, when anybody wants to transfer an amount more than $10,000 to two people, one person will say, I want this authorization to happen. A second person will be notified. What is the second person's job? Examine all the paperwork. Call both people and find out whether this transaction is warranted, it's authorized, is it real or not. And only when there's a confirmation, it could be an I. Otherwise, it could be a nay. Like, nobody's authorized this, I don't want it to happen. But the funniest thing is, because this guy is an admin, he has control over who is going to be the person that authorizes it. He can change it. There goes the whole story. So what happens is this guy says edit. He removes the actual banker, the second person, who's going to be the approver. He's the first, he's the admin. Technically an admin, the bank wasn't architected correctly perhaps. Because if I am a system administrator, why should I be able to do banking transactions? I shouldn't. But there are admins who want to test everything up. We give all powers to our admin and we make certain only those people do what they're supposed to. They probably want admins to test that. So this guy says, remove this real guy and add in a new guy which I'm going to create right now. So he goes says, create new user. What's the email address? Something believe5535@gmail.com. And this person would be the authorizer for the first transaction. He does the edit, saves it, and says transfer money in 50K increments. And click submit. And then he sees the log. There is a mail that goes up from the bank to that particular email address, which is basically, this transaction needs to be authorized. Please authorize. He takes that link, sticks it into his browser, and says authorize, because he sees that link, right? The link that's supposed to go out. And he starts the transaction. The funny thing in the story is, FireEye wakes up now. The bank has FireEye. Suddenly it wakes up and says, oh my God, what's going on? The admin has 2 different IP addresses, both for the same session ID. One of it is tied to this bank in Hoboken, New Jersey. The other is behind Tor. I don't even know where it is. It truncates, terminates the transaction in the middle. So the story goes like the bank lost 700K out of 1 million. So the bank says, so good, we were able to stop it in the middle and prevent this from succeeding. Well, it did succeed. 700K, 70% of 1 million. That's how the story I heard. And the next story that I have is very simply my experience with, I'll go to the last one, then I'll come to WebEx and go to the one that I told you already about, my Vice President's conference, which was open. The last thing is I go to the Bellevue Square store of AT&T and I give them my cell phone and say, this is an old iPhone that I have, I want a new one. Very good, you have your iPhone for 3 years, you're eligible for a discount or a newer. And your Microsoft discount will let you save 40% of your bill. Hold it. I don't work for Microsoft anymore. Why was I getting a 40% discount? Like, you didn't know that? I didn't know. I never went through my bill and saw, I'm still getting a discount as a Microsoft employee, because I don't get postal mail. Best thing to do is get everything as electronic. There's no postal mail. And I hardly ever opened the PDF and saw that I was an employee. So I was like, for the last 2 years, I've been getting a discount as a Microsoft employee when I was not one. They're like, no worries, it's okay. We don't want you to leave and join Sprint or T-Mobile or Verizon somewhere else. It's okay, you have the discount. I'm like, user management failure. Microsoft did not inform AT&T that I was no longer an employee and I wasn't eligible for the discount. It is there. Okay, so let's go on to code. What I'm going to show you right now is a buffer overflow exploit. Let's just bring this up. test.c. I'm going to type out a C program right in front of you. I'll show you the program in the next slide because it's not visible, the resolution is so. Hash include stdio.h int main int I a of 10 for I equal to 0, I less than equal to 10, I plus plus. I simply say a of I equal to 0. Close it. So printf %d \n I a of Maybe I'll tell you the reason why I'm showing you this code. cc test.c minus o test1. So I'll run this program after I show you what I'm trying to do. Let's go back here. So my basic thing is programs are everything, never be too scared to code. When I teach on behalf of Science Institute, I've been a developer all my life before I came on to security. I see this little bit of fear in a lot of people who say, I can't write code, I can't read code, oh my god, it's too tough. I'm like, why? Why do you have this reservation? What makes you so scared about computer code? It's not too hard, it's very easy. It's how easy, I'm going to show that to you right now. Okay, so never be too scared to code, never be too scared to code unless you are going to write code and not test. Next slide was the program that I just typed. I'm going to show that out to you. What I'm going to use right now is Backtrack Linux 5R3, GNOME32, and the C compiler is 4.2.2, which is probably the only compiler in which I can show you this buffer overflow. And this is my program that I just typed. Look at the size of it. It's just on one slide. This is how easy a buffer overflow is going to be. The most amazing thing about this program, though, is you can actually tweet it. It's less than 140 characters. You could type this whole program out in a tweet and send it out with some code that says, hey, this is a buffer overflow. And tweet is less than 140 characters. Please see this program. What am I doing? I'm defining two variables, I, a of 10. I'm saying I equal to 0, I less than equal to 10, I plus plus, a of I equal to 0. So I'm assigning each member of the array the value 0. But what's my bug here? Rather than iterating over the loop 10 times, I'm iterating over the loop 11 times. That's the line that you see, I equal to 0, I less than equal to 10. I'm going through the loop 11 times instead of 10, and I'm setting 11 members to 0. Guess what the output would be? Let me just go back to my window. This program would print infinite zeros. Let me just show that to you. ./test1. You see that on the screen? It's printing infinite zeros. I've just caused a buffer overflow. How did I cause this buffer overflow? I'm looping through 10 times. So 0 through 9, you see the set of 0. Where you expect to see 10, 0, you don't see 10, 0. You actually see 0, 0. It's because this is what is happening. If you look at this, you'll be like, buffer overflows are so easy. I have defined a variable called I. Let's give it a memory location 100. And then I've defined a variable called a of 10, an array of 10 elements. Give it a memory location 60. So when I say a of 0 through a of 9, I'm setting data all the way from memory addresses 60 through 99, 0 through 9. But what happens when I say a of 10? A of 10 is same as I. If you see this code, int I, so it allocates a certain memory address on the stack for I, and then it sees a of 10. It assigns a 40 byte block because each int is 4 bytes. After that, so a of 10 is the same as I. This is the beauty of, I would say, showing code to people. Like I give this program every time I teach on behalf of SANS, I show this program to people and they're like, oh, buffer overflow so easy. I'm like, no, don't assume they're easy. They are tough, but they're not so tough that, oh my god, I can't understand all this code about stacks and 0x90 no-op slides, and I can't do it. I'm like, no, you can. Just find out how to do it. Somebody can do it, you can do it. As simple as that. So address 100 is not just I, it's a of 10. So I'm going to show you code right now. That's the reason why I brought up that program. I'm going to show you code on how you can query Active Directory and know everything that you want to know. Pretty much. So Active Directory is actually your BFF. It's really forever. As long as Microsoft's here, as long as Active Directory is here, as long as all those events are being written to your Active Directory, you can query and know everything about your company. The single most important source of truth for user accounts. If your Outlook can query and show you user data, your scripts could do that too. And what Microsoft has done right now, they're giving you Windows PowerShell. PowerShell is big right now. There are a lot of commandlets and scripts that they give you which let you query the Active Directory, do all these things in the Active Directory. But to run these commandlets, you got to have permission. You got to have access to your domain controller, or even if you don't have access to your domain controller, if you are having access to your own machine, you need a lot of permissions in order to be able to run those commandlets. So there is also, I've given you a link out there. You can share that link out perhaps. So there is a link also on how exactly Microsoft says you can use commandlets for Active Directory. But permission is everything. But we don't really care about permissions, right? So we walk the path of querying AD via innocuous code. If Outlook can do it, so can I. If Outlook can get me all the information, so can I. Why do I need permission? I don't. Okay? So I have a program too. This is the program that I'm going to run. Source for this console application. Okay, so let me just go on to here. Let me just fix my resolution. I need you. There is a program here that I'm going to actually walk through every line as I type it out. This code is shared on GitHub. I have the link out in the slide before. Let me just fix the resolution first off. Screen resolution, give me 250 by 2048 by 1636. That should be good. Apply. Thank you. Keep changes. This is good enough. So what I do pretty much in this code, it's just one program, it's just one file. I'll just tell you what I'm doing. I'm saying, get me corporate domain. So let's go to app config. Corporate domain has it here. So let's walk through each line. I'll just give you a basic idea of what I'm doing. The first program that I'm going to do is I'm going to find out every user in the company. Imagine this thing. There's a small program you could run which will tell you about every single individual in your company. Doesn't matter where they are. You could even get data about their location. You can find out every employee in Russia, every employee in India, every employee in Bangalore, wherever that person is, you have the data available in front of you. All you need to do is to query. So I say get me the domain, that's my domain, And then I say, construct a principal context. The total number of lines for this particular part, get me all the users, is less than 10. User principal, construct that. Construct a principal searcher. So you're asking your Active Directory to say, get me all the users. I'm not giving you any search condition. It's star, get me all. What happens is, this code will go, query the Active Directory and get you every user. So counter is 0. Find all will return everything. So this is probably going to run for like 20 minutes, which I'm going to interrupt in the middle. I'm just going to say 5. This window comes up. You see those names coming up on the screen? I'm going to the Active Directory and saying, get me all the users. It'll probably dump like upwards of 1,000, maybe many thousands. I'm going to stop. Oh, okay. User. Put in a loop which says if counter equal to 11 break. This is basically I added this to say just show me the first 10. If I comment this out, I'll tell you why. And run it again. Now it will go on to like all the way, but I will let it run all the way. Run and run. Queries, it will keep running. You see the number incrementing. So these are all the people in my company. It's available to me and it's available to anybody. So if you are really a bad guy, what could you do? You could have this malware be somehow injected to anybody who has a VPN connection into your company. Use that guy to query that company completely overnight. Don't do it. You'd go to jail. I'm just kidding. Don't take my word. So this is the query. But what I'm going to do pretty much is I'm going to say everything about me. So if I just go here, I have code which basically says an alias called Sundar K, which is me. Get me all the information in the Active Directory. Let's go back to my program. Let's remove the part which says don't list all the accounts. Get me everything for Sundar Krishnamurthy. This guy is shady inside the company. Let's find out everything about him. So this you see, name equals value. There's a postal code, there's a telephone number, there's a given name, there's a manager, there's a location, country, and two most important fields here, last logon timestamp. It gets updated every time you log on to the Active Directory. So what can you do? If you're in security, you can go to your manager and say, I have written a program. This code is so simple, it's on GitHub. I've written this program, or I found this program. What it simply does is it will let you know every time anybody logs into the company and any time they log on. And the best thing about Active Directory is this. If you have a cell phone and your cell phone has access to the company's Exchange server, every time your cell phone says, is there any new mail? It goes, connects to the Exchange server and tries to fetch mail. This updates the last logon timestamp. The big compliance failure would be the use case where an employee's last day was 31st May. He's no longer working from 1st June. But you see that the last logon timestamp for this guy, who's not your employee anymore, is coming to be 2nd June or 3rd June. What gives? The folks who manage your Exchange server have not disabled his email ID, or they're disabling his email ID after 3-4 days. Till the time he's receiving mail. If he's part of some mailing list, like all in certain organization or under a certain VP, whatever, that person is still getting mail because his client and his cell phone is still syncing to your Exchange server and fetching things. He can't VPN it because his VPN certificate would have been revoked the night of 31st, his last day. But still, this last logon timestamp is getting updated. So that is the scariest thing. So In that code that I just showed you, there's some important parts to it. So one line simply says using var context equals new principal context, context type domain, your domain, whatever is your corporate domain. So you're saying, get me the principal context, I want to talk to the Active Directory. And then you say user principal equals new user principal. The next line that you see is the context which lets you query the Active Directory. And then you iterate over all the users by saying for each var result in searcher.findAll, and then get that person's SAM account name. SAM account name is his login, his or her login name in the Active Directory is the SAM account name. Okay, so the properties that are of interest, you basically have user account control, you have manager who this person reports to in the company structure, path, the CN or the path will tell you if the path moves to terms or archive, this person's logon rights have been revoked. Or you have another flag with which you can do that. SAM account name is the logon credentials, member of which any user groups does this user belong to, and then as I told you the most important thing, last logon timestamp. So what you could do, you could write your own homegrown DB, come up with a LAMP machine in your company, write a Windows service that wakes up at 2 a.m. every night, queries the Active Directory, finds out every single user, writes all of that to the database, and then goes to sleep. Next day it wakes up again, goes back to the Active Directory, queries every user, checks is this user there already before? Yes, this user was there yesterday too. Now find anything that has changed. Only thing that should change would be last logon timestamp. Aside from that, nothing should change ideally. But if there is a change, it could be something of interest to you. For example, somebody's location changes from Philippines to the United States, and that person is actually your BCP DRP chief for Manila, business continuity and disaster recovery. So that person who was tasked with that job for that particular country, he's moved to the United States of America. But you need to find somebody else who's going to do BCP DRP there. You have an event of interest. But the most important event of interest is that logon ability being revoked. What you can do, query all the users nightly, write the properties to the DB, audit and log all external accounts for different services to this entity. So that person has access to White Hat Sec, if that person has access to GitHub, if that person has access to Yammer, if that person has access to GoToMeeting, if that person has access to even Safari Books Online as a result of that person being employed with you. The minute this person leaves your company, you have an event. Have that event be tied to notify all these people. You need to go and remove that guy. He should not be able to read books for free anymore from Safari Books Online because the person is not employed. There is no direct marriage between Safari Books Online and your Active Directory. You need a process, user management. That's what is missing. So check for changes, track important events like deactivation, location change, manager, and most importantly, overseas contractors that depart. If you have contractors in Bangalore for your dev center that's there, and if they depart, do you have any sort of process by which you would know what were all the things that they had access here? We don't need to give them access anymore. That is missing. And this picture that you see here, basically, this picture is something called Phooey Duck, PHOOEY DUCK. If you just Google it, you'll find a Wikipedia link for it. Cartoonist in error drew 4 ducklings, 4 of dollars views instead of 3. So the joke is that those 3 are Huey, Dewey, Louie, and the 4th one is called Phooey. So Phooey Duck is a user in your system that you don't know about. Like Phooey Duck is a cartoon, the cartoonist did not know, oh, I drew 4, oh my god, I was supposed to have drawn 3. So you see 4 of Donald's cousins, nephews in this, those 4 brothers in this particular cartoon. So this is the analogy that I did. Lastly, there is this awesome book, Active Directory for Dummies. I learned a lot of it from this book. And there are a lot of links for your interest, Wikipedia, MSDN, TechNet, Microsoft Virtual Academy, and Eli the computer guy. He's got awesome videos on YouTube. He's done a complete thing on AD. And last other things, the names rejected for this talk, it's very offensive and not politically correct. Because Active Directory, your gal friend. But this is one gal your spouse shouldn't be worried about. The global address list isn't of any. And lastly, if you have address book user objects in your code, they will be called abuser, AB user. Any questions?
So that's the scripting that you had. What's the source language for that?
C#.
C#.
I have a question about GitHub. So if you, I've never used it in an enterprise environment. I've just used it like my own personal account. But I'm assuming you can just once you pull from that server, that source code is on your personal. It can be on your personal laptop.
Yes.
So the concern isn't just that they can access the source code on GitHub. They may also have it on their computer as well.
Ideally, they should be pulling source onto their work laptops, not to their home laptops. Ideally. There should be some way for you to track that. There isn't at the moment, and that's a big gaping hole. That's the problem. Problem is that ideally, companies should not be checking in code into GitHub. A lot of companies are doing that because you have these agile, continuous prod-ops, DevOps model where developers are releasing features onto the AWS cloud whenever they deem necessary. It isn't like every 2 months we roll to production or every 3 months we have a release. It's not so. It's probably every weekend, every time that a certain team realizes we have this feature that we've tested, we want to push it out to AWS cloud, they do it, and they have keys to the kingdom. Pretty much the developers that code a particular update can log into the VPC boxes, deploy things via Docker or via Kubernetes or whatever is the platform that they're using, and have those binaries be updated. All that is happening at crazy breakneck speed with little control, less care. Questions?
Thank you.
Sir,
Sure. So my contact details, ideally, you first.
Do you have a question?
Yes.
what happened to the company in Belgium?
The story goes that the company in Belgium, pretty much they had like a 10 million euro or something loss. But nobody can sue anybody. The company in Belgium can say, I'm going to sue you, you lied to me. They're like, you came in through a route which was illegal. So whatever we furnish to you should be your truth or lies or whatever happens. That's the story I heard.
Any other questions? Thank you again to Sundar for coming down here and spending time with us tonight and giving us this presentation. Very appreciative. We do have the room in July, so please social network with each other. That's really why we're here, to get to know others in our security community. Will the slide deck be available for people afterwards?
Yeah, I can share it on Gmail. It's on Google Drive. I can just share it.
Yeah, it's